Hi, I'm Lee Pound. In the last two videos, I've shared with you some extremely important concepts about how writing, marketing, and selling work together to create a synergy that makes your reader or your listener want to buy from you. I shared with you some very important concepts. The first of which is the most powerful, persuasive writer is the novelist. And the reason for this is, think. The novelist gets you to read a story about something that never happened, about people who may never have existed, about events that never took place in places that may never have existed. And you read 300 to 600 pages of it. There are lessons to be learned in how that novelist creates that most powerful of stories. I also shared with you that many people have no idea how to write. That most of what they and most of what you know about writing is absolutely wrong. And the reason for that is that we are not taught how to influence in our writing in school. We're taught grammar, we're taught how to put words together, but we're not taught what words are important. There are a couple of very important ideas that I also shared with you. One of the most important things to remember about writing and actually speaking and marketing and any other kind of communication you do is to make sure you're interesting. The worst sin you can commit is to bore your reader. Because what happens is the reader closes the book, turns off the marketing piece, closes the sales letter. The reader doesn't continue reading unless the reader is involved emotionally. And that is the second big concept, is that you must involve your reader emotionally, and to do that you have to create experiences for them with stories. And those stories can be any number of things. They can be about you, they can be about your clients, they can be testimonials, they can be anything that creates an emotional experience. I even gave you the outline of the story, which is basically to create a great attention grabber, create great characters, and create opposition, and make the character try to get over that opposition. And the opening, the grabber, is the most important part of that in anything you write, anything you say, anything you speak. That is why I set up my Protégé program originally, was to teach people how to do this, to teach people how to use those communication skills that stories and novelists create for all of us, and that the greatest religious leaders, the greatest politicians, the greatest speakers, and the greatest writers use to influence all of us. Wouldn't you like to know how this is done so you can do it yourself and attract clients and customers in a way that you've never thought possible? Of course. So the story is the emotional creator, is the emotional generator. The story has been used for generations to pass on information, to pass on history, but also to give people an experience. And the story is the emotional heart of this whole process. So what I want to teach you, and I'll show you how you can learn more about this a little later in this video, what I want to teach you is how to use stories as marketing tools. How to use stories to create emotion, because the emotion is what we buy on. We do not buy on facts. We simply justify our emotional purchase on facts. Now, the first thing to remember about all of this is that writing is simply the process of putting words together in a way that makes sense, whether it's verbal or whether it is written. Verbally, it's simply a first draft that you're never going to edit. Written, yeah, you're going to go through and edit it. The key here is that the words you use and the way you use them are what makes your writing and your presentation and your business and your marketing so powerful. Now, I've mentioned that stories are the most powerful marketing tool ever invented, and that most people have no idea what they're doing when they write. However, people still try to write. They write books, they write articles, they write blog posts, they write just about everything under the sun. And much of what is written out there is simply boring everybody on the internet. And we can't have that happen. So the processes that I am going to teach you and I'll show you how you can learn them a little later in the video, are simply about how to be interesting to anybody who is listening or reading your material. And that, in the sum, is what the most powerful marketing tool in the world is. Being interesting and using stories to hit that emotional buying point. As you know, I coach writers in how to write books and articles. I edit books and I publish books for them. I help them do self-publishing so that they can get a book out there that establishes them as the expert in their field. Now, in this process, I teach them all of the techniques that you have just heard about, and I teach them in depth. What we've covered here is simply the surface, the very tip of the iceberg. What I learned from Saul Stein so many years ago is so deep and so powerful that it takes far more than just 3 short videos to teach you the concepts. In fact, in working with my clients, my private clients in the Protege program over the last several years, I have over 80 or 90 hours of recordings of powerful, detailed ways that you can use writing to influence people, ways that you can use stories, ways that you can create your book and build your book and get past all blocks so that you can simply move forward and get the work done. I've coached many people through the process of writing and publishing books. And I want to give you just a little bit of a feel for how that process works. Because you see, the process of organizing a book is exactly the same as the process of creating a story. When you start with something that grabs attention, creates a character, which in a nonfiction book is you, and creates opposition, which is what you went through to learn the material you're teaching now, you can start to see how the book and the story work together. And when you see that the emotional tugs created by the stories, by the structure, draws people through it in the same way that the novelist draws people through their books, you can see just how powerful this type of writing is. I wish we had enough time in this video to go through everything you need to know to write and publish your own book. We can't do that, and that's not the purpose of this video. What I really want to get across to you is that the writing skills that great marketers use, that great copywriters use, and that great sellers use are exactly the same as the techniques that great novelists use, great speakers use. And that is what I want to teach you. And that is what I want you to learn so you can go out and do it yourself and create wonderful, wonderful communication pieces that will draw clients and customers to you. So I've decided to open up my Protege program and to allow more people to participate in it because I want you to learn how this works. This is one of the most important things that you can learn as a person who's in business. If you can't get this, you might as well forget it. So I'm going to open up my Protege program and teach all of you how you can create powerful marketing materials. I'm really excited to tell you about the Protege program because we've had such a lot of fun and learned so much over the last few years with the people who are in it. Here's how it works. Every Monday afternoon, I do a teleseminar. We talk for 1 hour. I give a half an hour of content. It might be about outlining. It might be about how to open your book. It might be about how to create characters. And I show you step by step exactly how those work. Then we do a half an hour of coaching and questions and answers. So everybody who's on there actually gets to talk to me for a half an hour every week for simply the price of getting into the program. I'm so excited to share this with you because we've had such incredible discussions over the last few years about everything from marketing skills to products to writing books to how you outline, how you make emotion work, how you make stories work. That everybody should be in this because this is where you learn the nuts and bolts. This is where you get everything that Saul Stein taught me. I can't teach it one-on-one to everybody who comes along because that simply would take too much time. I spend a lot of time with my book writing clients, but I charge them a lot of money too. And those book writing clients get value because they get a book. I teach you in the Protege program everything you need to write a book, to write articles, to write blog posts, to write anything that you want that will get your word out there and get your name out there and get your information out there so you can start attracting clients and customers. Now, because I expect quite a few people to want to get in on this, I'm going to open it tomorrow at noon so that all of you will have the same chance to get in. And I don't want to take too many people because it would dilute the whole process too much. So I'm going to leave it open for up to a week, but it might only be a few days if I get too many people. So tomorrow I'll send you an email showing you where to go, and I'll also post on this blog the location where you can go to get the Protege program. And I look forward to working with you. I'm really excited about this process because there's so much that I want to share with you and so much that I believe the marketing and speaking and writing community needs to know about powerful writing and emotional creation skills. So I'll see you on the other side tomorrow.